When faced with the task of talking to camera, 90% of people are going to become a worse version of themselves. They are going to choke up, freeze up, become anxious, stumble over their words, and get incredibly frustrated as to why this thing brings out the worst possible version of them. Now, it's actually not that hard to become the 10% of people who even become a better version of themselves when faced with the camera. They perform, and their body, their mind, their voice is able to deliver charismatically, confidently, and comfortably, and probably most importantly, authentically too. Now, what is the difference between these two people? Let me tell you a story about how I started to learn how to talk to camera and figure this out. So it kind of started at school. I was pretty insecure about being a late developer. So I was like 16 and I still had a really high voice. So I'd be in class and you have to the teacher calls your name and you have to say present. The teacher says Thomas. Present. That was my voice, right? Present. And then my friends would make fun of me. Present. And do this, right? So this was like a point of insecurity. And I just went through school like wishing and praying for my voice to drop. So I didn't like have this stupid issue anymore. Fast forward 2 years and I wanted to start making YouTube videos. My voice had gotten a lot deeper. So I was happy about that. The problem was, when I made my first video and watched it back, I looked at myself and I was like, who on earth is this person? I thought I was this kind of expressive, fun guy and I knew how to be confident and funny and stuff. And I watched the video back and I couldn't believe it. My voice was stuck in a lower register. So my voice was stuck down here. Because I was so insecure about ever having a high voice again, I would just talk like this. Being myself rather than kind of acting, so I can help myself speak, put myself across more effectively, clarify my thoughts in my head. And my body was stiff, and it was actually kind of disturbing. I was like, I had no idea I was like this. This is so weird. So I started talking to camera every day. And what happened is I started to learn that when you talk to camera, you project yourself outwards. So the camera isn't going to say, oh really, tell me more. It's not going to nod, right? It's just going to stay there. So you have to learn how to project your ideas, thoughts and feelings on a blank canvas that isn't going to give you anything back. So you start to learn to do this and to output at the camera. And this is a really cool skill. And because in this external skill set, you start building up the ability to be more articulate, to explain your ideas. And naturally, when you watch yourself back, you're going to look at the external things that affect your delivery. So for example, I was noticing that my voice was really deep. And so what I would do is focus on trying to break out of this register and speak more normally. I would notice that my hands were stiff, so I'd try to make them not so stiff and express my points more. All of this stuff is external. And what this meant was by, I don't know, day 10 or day 14, I started to realize that, okay, I could talk to camera now, but it definitely wasn't the best version of myself. I was presenting. I became a presenter. And this is a problem that a lot of people get stuck on, in that they'll either be completely shy on camera and not be able to talk, but then they work on it a bit and they then become a weird version of themselves. So I would start talking like this and I would be intentionally kind of louder and more expressive. And I'd be focusing on my hands, focusing on my voice. At some point, I sort of intuitively figured out that I needed to somehow go in. I needed to connect with myself. And I just put my hand on my heart. Tried to feel whatever emotion was there, be present, and then talk to the camera from that place. And something magical started to happen. When I started directing my energy and my consciousness down. And it enabled me to become authentic. So I could then start to communicate from a place of emotion. This idea that I had to rush through my sentences and words started to disappear, and silence became comfortable. I had an awareness even in my feet, and I could feel my feet whilst talking, and it somehow helped me deliver with more clarity and purpose, rather than just thinking about what I'm going to say next and not actually being present with my delivery. So if you are shy on camera, or camera brings out the worst version of yourself, try this. Take a minute to just connect with your body, to connect with your emotion, and then talk to camera. Now, the first time you do this, it might not be fluent. It probably won't be fluent. But as your practice goes on, as the days go by, try and play with this external energy and this internal energy and see what relationship starts to build there. I think that if you keep these things in mind, you will make big progress really quickly and avoid being stuck in the presenter trap, and also start to just break through the shyness and awkwardness. And if you keep practicing, I promise you, you will start to become the best version of yourself when the camera is on you rather than the worst. If you would like to learn a simple but powerful rule that makes you so much more engaging and entertaining on camera, I have a video for you to watch next. I'll see you there.